check in with our Patrick Nelson with more on some new numbers about just how dangerous this stretch is there. Patrick.
No worries, Rob. We have a live look for you right here behind me. This is Monument, the start of the Gap, and all three phases of construction for the Gap project are now underway, which means drivers traveling through the Gap must now navigate 20 miles of construction. And we have state patrol numbers that show last year drivers had plenty of trouble driving through. The Colorado Department of Transportation estimates 79,000 drivers travel the Gap daily between Monument and Castle Rock. In the fall of 2018, major construction started for this stretch of I-25, bringing a series of new challenges for the men and women of the Colorado State Patrol who work to keep this corridor safe.
There's not a lot of shoulders to work with. Traffic is definitely very dense, and the project is very long in nature. It's nearly 20 miles long. News 5 investigates acquired State Patrol crash numbers through an open records request and found in the Gap between October 2018 and September of last year, state troopers worked to clear 1,203 crashes, an average of 100 crashes a month. In September of 2019 alone, State Patrol reports there were 122 crashes. State Patrol Captain J.P. Burt invited me to ride along with him. And the road's a little rough right now, so.
Taking a closer look at why so many drivers have wrecked their cars since the start of the Gap project. When people are in wrecks here along the Gap, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see people make?
So following too closely is the root cause of the majority of these crashes. If there is an incident ahead and somebody stops and you don't have roughly a car length for every 10 miles per hour you're traveling, you will not have mathematically the amount of time necessary to stop before a collision. What compounds that a little bit more that we were just talking about is without shoulders here, if you can't stop, you have nowhere to steer to avoid a rear-end collision.
Working an average of 3 crashes a day in the Gap, troopers patrolling the area are always looking for potential hazards.
So we're going to stop and check on this motorist right here. This is not normal to see one sitting here for this long. Okay, sounds good. Be careful, have a good day. So she's doing okay. She was actually getting sleepy while she was driving, made a good decision to pull over, but didn't realize there's actually an exit about a quarter mile ahead of her that probably would have been a better location to be at.
Moments later, Captain Burt sees an example of Gap driving dangers right out his window.
So you can see right now we got a white van to my left. He's following this Ford Explorer pretty closely. We're right at the speed limit of 60 miles per hour, and I would estimate he's got about 1 car length between him and the vehicle in front of him. So that's a pretty unsafe following distance.
Captain Burt waited until the roadway opened up and made a traffic stop on the van, giving the driver a warning about following too closely.
We're really looking for compliance. The purpose of a citation is to change behavior in some cases, but if we can get it voluntarily without having to issue somebody a citation, that's always a win for obviously the driver, but also for us.
The aim for Colorado State Patrol is to see the number of crashes in the Gap significantly reduced in 2020. Captain Burt says every 2 weeks, first responders and construction leaders are meeting to take action or make adjustments to make this drive safer.
The nice thing is, because all those partners are present, we can take immediate action. We don't have to debate it. We don't have to have, committees weigh it out. We can just make a decision on the spot and have it rectified within the next 24 hours.
And Captain Burt tells me that bad weather was a contributing factor to some of those crashes, mainly because people were driving too fast for the conditions. Now, one thing you will notice driving through the Gap this year is you will actually see tow trucks and other types of first responders staged in problem areas so that they can try to remove crashes or stalled vehicles quickly and safely. But these conversations are going to be very important in the months and even years to come, because this project isn't scheduled to wrap up until sometime in 2022. Always watching out for you, Patrick Nelson, News 5 Investigates.